to, because that's how we go through all the different accounts that we have. Let's just open another tab and
Well, the nice thing about what
It's
we have
listed.
now,
you have to add it though. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, well, I can get to it all now. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
we're ready.
Okay, start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know, huh? I thought the same
You want
thing.
to?
Let the roll call show all are present, and we do have a quorum. Like to open with a prayer. Those that want to be joining in with me, thank you. Well, gracious Lord, look down upon our community and this governing body. May we make the right decisions to move forward. May we all enjoy the birth of Christ and enjoy the holidays. And when may we all be blessed, our families be blessed with the joy of this. In your name, I ask all this. Amen.
So, just to interject real quick, I had a comment from a citizen that is asking that we make sure to speak into the microphones because they're having a hard time hearing. I know I do too when I do the minutes. So just make sure the microphone is
Okay,
and speak up.
Like yours aren't right now, you're pointing out like.
Yeah.
Same.
Don't follow my example.
have you not been able to hear me? It's like pretty loud. Anyway. But approval of the agenda, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll approve the agenda.
Been moved by Councilman Hartke and second by Councilman Stetler that we approve the agenda. Any discussion? Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Any communication from citizens? Do we have anybody online? The consent agenda. Can I have approval of the minutes, November 26, 2024, December 3rd, 2024 workshop? I will move to approve A.
So we approve the workshop on December 3rd minutes.
Been moved, we approve the December 3rd, 2024 workshop. By Councilman Zent, can I have a
I'll
second?
second it.
And second by Councilman Hartke. Any further discussion?
I'll abstain because I wasn't there. I mean, I watched it on YouTube, but I wasn't present.
Councilman Stetler abstained from voting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. We have a motion to approve the minutes November 26, 2024.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilwoman Hartke. Discussion. Is there any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Can I have approval of the bills November 27th, 2024 through December 17th, 2024?
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilwoman Hartke. Discussion. Anything stand out to anybody that? Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, pose the same. Motion passed on the affirmative. Uh. Special permit, woman's 5-shot rabbit hunt.
The consumption of alcohol permit for the 10th and the 11th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Speak up.
At the Shoshoni Rec Building.
And that's put in by Jessica Smith.
They checked malt wine and wine cooler beverages.
Yes. And I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
As submitted. Been moved by Councilman Stever. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Zent. That we approve the special use permit as presented. Any further discussion?
I've got to ask, do they have insurance for this and not a homeowner's insurance?
Whatever, that's not our, I don't believe that falls under our,
If you read this,
it falls under their, under. Then it should fall under the landowner.
But they're assuming full responsibility. And hold that harmless, the town of Shoshone.
do you think?
What?
Do you think? It's-
What's this? Release, indemnify, and hold harmless the town of Shoshone, its agents, employees, and they're assuming full responsibility. That would be, I guess technically Jessica Smith is assuming complete
Okay.
liability and responsibility herself.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Yeah, this is-
Good question. Would it be the town or the rec department responsible for that?
I don't know.
The alcohol?
No, we're given a permit, but it's being used at the rec department.
I'm not the attorney, so I don't want to give advice, but typically it would be the event location that would, the host of it in that event location. So for instance, when the town allows alcohol to be consumed at the town plaza for hot summer nights events, it's the actions of the people individually after consuming, no different than if you were in a bar and you consumed in a bar.
Yeah, but
We-
people don't have guns.
That's not actually true.
Well.
There's been
but
some
not
incidents.
Everybody has guns. What I'm
In
trying to say.
Wyoming?
I think Paul,
Well, I'm
I
talking about there.
Like at the
think-
Lucky Five?
think Paul Harvey has a newscast on it back in the 80s, doesn't he?
Yeah,
But-
they did.
But to answer your
Shoshone.
question, typically it falls on the individual who does consume as a choice and their actions and any injuries, no different than if you went to a bar and consumed alcohol, slipped and fell, or hit a table and tripped and fell and hit your head. That's on you. Unless it's some kind of construction or fault, an obvious fault of the location.
This would be no negligence by the town by issuing this permit.
Correct. That much I can say that.
Yeah.
That we're under no obligation
Right.
as far as what happens there. It's not our
What's in the last paragraph?
Yeah, it's the
Above
town.
the signature.
I was conflating the police department. I have a
Right.
responsibility that I have to do. So, but the town itself
Right.
is town council and for granting it is not, is, you know, releasing hold harmless and as indemnifying the town, so we are liable for losses. For the actions of people who attend and drink.
Any more discussion? Got that ease your concern at all, Tammy?
Yeah,
Okay, that's it.
But hopefully they don't have guns in the rec department while they're drinking. Said
Hopefully it's
hopefully.
afterwards.
have you ever been to one?
Not loaded, hopefully.
Been to 10 of them.
But we have no further discussion. All in favor to approve this special permit, say aye.
I-
Aye. Oppose the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. Fremont County Historical Preservation Plaque. Did I guess the conversation, I meant to talk with Kathy some more, Kathy Blair, and I talked some more that we really need to settle something this month so we can get
Yeah.
going, but,
Yeah, because they said that they wanted a commitment by the end of the year.
right, and Marilyn and I text back and forth today. I got one concern, it's awful lot like what they have on East Park. It's not a whole lot of different on what we have on East Park. What was presented is very well written, is very good. I like it, but it's very similar to what we have on East Park. And we were going, you know, Kathy Blair was going through the other direction for her instructions to get something as that was specific to the buildings that aren't there. And what was put was a lot of really good history, but it really wasn't specific to what used to be there. The Gamble store and everything history, you know what I mean? That's the concern. But what was presented was historically very good and everything, and maybe that's where it should be, but it didn't really address that site that was demoed. That was the concern.
I thought they were putting the QR code too with the link to that site as well.
Yeah, it was gonna link to other things,
You are
other
right.
articles.
Right.
Yes.
Here's your history, click on the QR and then I
Yeah.
have all the photos and all that of the.
Yep.
What was exactly there. I understand what you're saying too, and I don't disagree. Well, I don't know if we're kind of at the 11th hour to rewrite it, if we're at the end, it's take it or leave it, that's what I'm wondering. That's what I don't know.
I guess if we're comfortable enough that it'll get to that, I don't know. Yeah. That was the only concern.
I did,
That was a very, very good article, but it's also very similar to what we have on East Park, but
oh, the
They
plaque
prob-
part,
the plaque part, but they won't. People that stop there probably didn't stop at East Park either, maybe, you know what I mean, I don't.
and the sales pitch they had that I thought, I was thinking kind of the same thing until they're like, they said that the QR code will be part of it. Scan that and then you get this was.
Yeah, I keep getting this modern technology. We get that, that's probably,
I'd say.
that opens the door, but that's,
I will say a lot of the state parks, cultural sites, when you go to them now, they have QR codes as well. When I was with the state, that's what they were
Yeah,
doing as
I
well.
know the Wind River Visitors Council is just put in about $600,000 on signage on doing that in Fremont County, predominantly in Riverton, Lander, DuBois, and Fort Worth. Shoshoni, we didn't get one, but anyway. Yeah, but about 600, the money, remember, they spent without asking us, that 300,000, that's what that went. And then this next year, we got another 300,000 and did the same, which I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea, they just didn't ask us. As they're required to by their charter, but anyway, but yeah, but it's, I think a lot of people use that now. Cause it'll trail deal, they'll get in and it'll get a piece of history and tell them to go to another spot, look at some more, and yeah, it's interesting stuff, yeah.
And
So, yeah,
Can you get internet access out there?
At Fort Washington?
Yeah,
I think you can like right by the fort, but if you go over to Stewart Lane, just like right to the west of it, there ain't nothing out there.
right.
yeah, they're at the new Frank Wise center. Out there, they have it out there. When we put that out there, been out there a couple of times. That's pretty nice. So yeah, I can see where, I just wanted to bring that up.
As in
So-
agreement, but then with the QR codes.
And make sure that we get that.
That was part.
Okay. Well, Marilyn and I are gonna get together and work on this and get it hammered out. And so be pretty much. This is good. Move forward.
I wouldn't vote down what they presented.
Okay,
I wonder if just consensus by email would have to suffice at this point on whatever you guys, if you guys change it or whatever.
well, there'll be. Yeah, there won't be anything but change, maybe a word or two or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever needs to make sure it gets to
I
the,
have it right here.
yeah. I think you have what Kathy presented too. I mean. copies of both.
Oh,
And just for clarification, we were the town was gonna do 50% of the.
Yeah,
cost,
50/50
right?
of the.
Do we need to,
About 3,000, I thought.
Pardon?
Which
Thought that
we
was the town
figured
part.
we had it, but we would have to,
No, we were gonna pay 50%.
Yeah, it's
they were gonna pay
50/50.
50%.
we figured we had it, but we would have to do some finagling to the budget.
well, we can reprogram it administratively to take care of it, so that's not a problem.
I mean, or may have to do something down the road.
Oh,
I think in our last meeting, we looked up what it was cost, what it would cost.
I guess my question was, I
We
don't
had-
remember, does the council need to vote again to? approve
No,
it?
I guess we already approved the money.
Okay.
We-
That,
We
Yeah,
did,
yeah, we
we
already.
did
the
approve the money, but then we never got the final
okay.
product.
I just wanted to make sure since it's the last meeting, that's the only reason I was asking. I just couldn't remember.
This is the rest of that.
This here is what. This is the picture that was the east side, they got tore down,
Without approval.
and this is the old. Which is good,
I like that.
huh?
I like
Well, I do too, the only reason we didn't use it, because we were in the east side.
Right.
That's the only reason we steered away, and we had a hard time finding a good picture on the other side.
Right.
So, no, I agree, this is good, Reed's good,
That's
excellent,
poster board I did on the whole.
okay. We'll move forward on this. Yeah, we'll move forward on that and I'll keep everybody appraised. If there's any hiccups, I'll touch base.
Sweet, we
But that-
approved it and we had it in the budget,
Right.
but that was a previous year budget.
It was when we
No,
were
it's this year's
at,
budget.
yeah, when we were at the old town hall.
Yeah,
I guess I can't remember off the top of my head if it was just discussed, it was just agreed upon, just. Or it was
Oh.
actually voted on. That was what I was
that
asking.
might have. That might not, that might have been last year's budget.
It
Yes.
was when we were at the old town hall, right after I
That's why I
first
started to
started.
make sure that we're good,
I
or
don't
as I
thi-
brought it up.
I don't think we have it budgeted right now.
We don't, but if it, I guess what I'm trying to say is if it is voted on and approved, we can reprogram monies already allocated to pay for it without having to modify the budget if it's approved. That's why I was asking. Just,
Cause it wasn't that extremely expensive,
no,
since we're only paying 50%.
right, but.
I think it wasn't at 2,900 total.
No, I think. it's
Joel, you
more
have
than
my
that.
paperwork.
I thought it was 3,000
Yeah, some,
each.
yeah,
How's
close.
that?
And I know we didn't put it in this year's budget explicitly, but we can reprogram other monies, to pay for it if
So
it's,
we approved it, the old building. So you said you were going to, it's carried over to this upcoming year.
Well,
That's how
I move we approve the that we approve the Fremont County Historical Preservation plaque. Allowing that if they need to change a few words, but the base. To make it fit right, but as presented with a little bit of leeway to change a few words as needed.
Second,
Been moved and seconded, we approved the signage that we're splitting 50% with the Historical Society. I have a note here, it may have, we don't know if this price is exactly the same, it hadn't went up, 33.55. Was this is,
Right, was our half.
I think that's the total.
no, that's total.
Yeah,
Hey,
it-
We're gonna pay
yeah.
like 70.
Yeah, 33.55.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Question,
total of
Councilman Zinn.
about,
Yeah,
It's actually the
that's total.
discretionary, council discretionary fund is what was carried over where it's actually at.
Oh,
So it doesn't have its own specific
I just
line
thought if we
item,
just
it's under the
redo
discretionary.
the
fund.
motion, there's
Yeah.
no question.
So that's,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure we were
But
good.
there, we don't have a current, that price could have went up and I
Right.
don't have that verification.
It could have doubled. by now.
Everything
So
else
anyway, yeah. So it's been moved by Councilman Steller, second by Councilwoman Harkey,
no, Bob,
Bob's it.
Councilman Zant, that we move forward with this project and we do authorize pay 50% of the cost with the share with the Historical Preservation Commission of Fremont County. And now any further discussion? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, both same. Motion passed only affirmative. We have no new business scheduled. Police report, please, chief.
November with the weather, it's been kind of a little bit, obviously December, minus the weather, I should say, has impacted a lot of our typical weather related tourism that comes through into Fremont County. So we've had a decrease in overall traffic counts and things of that related to that nature, traffic crashes and stuff, which is good. As far as in town, it's kind of a weird month where most of our calls were all consolidated into just a few different little categories, which is not too atypical this time of year. We had 4 radar reports. We responded to 6 traffic complaints. We had 2 traffic accidents involving, one involving injury. One was a hit and run, which we were able to locate the vehicle that ran and get that taken care of. We had 4 canine deployments, 2 controlled substance arrests, as well as 2 warrant arrests. As far as personal type stuff, we had 1 burglary, fraud, and a domestic call for service in November. And then our overall calls for service for the year compared to last year are still up 47%. Up 66% from 2022 and 36% from 2021. So we're definitely gonna end the year as the busiest year that I can track as far as calls for service in Shoshone. As far as interagency cooperation, obviously we had a meeting down in Cheyenne with YDOT and gave a presentation with Chief Peters Lander on the multi-jurisdictional task force and the effects it's had on the key elements we were tracking, which is DUI, the amount of people that are stopped and contacted as a percentage that are DUI, as well as injury accidents, which showed a marked decrease in all of those in the 1 year, the first year of operation of doing so. Sure, you've seen the big billboard as you come into Riverton that YDOT put up about the impact that it has had on the amount of deaths, alcohol-related deaths in Fremont County. We were #1 per capita in the country here. That's what started kind of some of this progress to this point. So we have made a huge impact, and YDOT put out a press release on that as well, as a model for the state that we did the first year. Continuing on that theme, I've made an agreement with Riverton PD on sharing information through our eForce software. So we are going to share information in our database and they're going to share with us. And then today I also met with Hot Springs County, the PD, and we're going to share with them as well. So in trying to bring this corridor of information sharing and cooperation between agencies, amongst other things, from suspects that transverse these three areas, to other types of investigations that were mutually beneficial for both, for all three communities.
Like if we're watching somebody for something
Or they need help and
and they happen to run their license, it'll come up, hey,
Mhm.
Shoshone's got a problem with this guy too.
Yep.
Doesn't already do that.
no, we had to make the agreement. So that's now an agreement. So hopefully that will lead to more I don't know what that was, but
I didn't put her on silent.
More communication.
but yeah, better communication, better effectiveness, efficiency, and trying to just be better prepared for events that happen as people move and transgress through the communities.
Are you looking to expand that into the county, the sheriff, or Dakota County?
So we are looking, yes, the county doesn't currently use eForce, but Jackson does. And there's a host of other municipalities throughout the state that do. So we are going to continue to branch out and look for information sharing amongst other agencies throughout the state. And we can actually, but after that, we can actually go to outside the state as well. And it just gives a lot better detail and information when you're in contact, someone that might not be in our local system. But when we run it through our eForce system, it will populate if they have a contact somewhere else, and we can see their histories in a different jurisdiction. It just gives better information, intelligence, and what we're dealing with when we're done with
And
somebody.
that gives your real time, your officer that's doing the traffic
Yes.
stop, he can pull that up
Correct.
in his car.
And it also allows to, if we're looking at a suspect for something here and we have it there, they can access that, and we can, through communication, and say this is what we're looking for, and just more efficient to put them on that to help us to identify or find a subject that we're looking for, and vice versa.
Okay.
So that's the main
You've answered my question.
thing with that.
Like that murder suspect you picked up a year or so ago.
That was just by chance and good old fashioned police work. on
Well,
that
it
one.
would have been to have all of that stuff, would it have made easier if you could
Yeah.
have communicated?
I mean, yeah, all the information.
You dug it up, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, obviously 9/11, Department of Homeland Security, all that stuff, but that's what's always been the challenge is at local levels is information, keeping close to your chest and not, so you in Thermopolis or wherever else, they know this person is whatever. They come here and do something, we're in contact, we don't know them from Dick or Jane. And if we had that information, then we would know, okay, this is somebody that has a warrant, but there's a history here of this, and it gives us better detailed information to be more precise with our investigation, whatever it might be. And that's where it's intended on both sides. I believe our Durango should be arriving in February. Probably take another 2 to 3 months to get everything transitioned from the old Durango to the new one and get that operational. Our other Durango, the 2021, is currently getting a new motor. Warranty,
Go
which
figure.
is why we have a replacement vehicle plan under warranty, and this is why, but it is currently in the shop awaiting a back-ordered motor in the V6. The new Durango is the V8, which Highway Patrol also went to the V8s because of the problems with the V6. Something with low oil pressure, and it causes the cam and stuff to become fouled. So it will be getting a new motor whenever it is produced and arrives. So we're down a vehicle right now. So, but that's all I got on that. Any questions?
I remember when you only had one vehicle, it kind of ran.
Well, it was held together with duct tape, baling wire, some glue, Gorilla Glue.
And that was like the only vehicle.
It was, and when it did start, and you were driving, you would hear noises of things falling off it, and you just hoped it wasn't something important. True story.
Yeah. So it's,
You may see a
we,
wheel go.
we, with you at the lead, have brought our police department into the modern world.
Well, it's been the support of the council and the town, and I think that we've created a good model for how to make it over time successful.
Sure.
Obviously, it
This
wasn't,
overnight.
didn't happen overnight, but over the past 4+ years.
Yep.
Doing it in a very meticulous and pragmatic approach, it can be done. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that and support. So
I would like to acknowledge our citizens that are here. We got Councilman-elect Mark Nardine came to visit, and we have past Mayor John Myers from DuBois, who now lives in Shoshoni. He's a Shoshoni resident. It's good to see both of you here, and Mayor, it's good to see you as always.
Thank you. Good to be here.
The sun's always shining. I told you. Low wind, not as much snow. I was up in DuBois, it was getting white up there. I was up there this weekend. But you may miss that, I don't know. But anyway, it's good to have you here, John.
Thank
Would you like anything? Jake?
Once I apologize for missing the last workshop, but like I said before, it was scheduled. I couldn't be there.
Right.
I did watch it and it seemed like you guys did a really good work, so apologize for not helping on that, but good job. And I guess I wasn't real sure where that left us on the zoning. Was at the end of the
that
packet?
was the ends. Now I gotta finish putting this together as a draft for review of
Yeah.
an actual ordinance to make sure that I didn't miss anything, that
Right.
any final adjustments that need to be made. But I think we covered
So it's a rough draft.
it's gonna be a rough draft. It's not gonna come right to council, go to
Right.
an email and stuff and make sure it's good before we put it out.
Sounded pretty good. Seems like a lot of the confusing stuff got taken out. It's like if we gotta chew
Yeah.
the rag for a while to determine what it actually means, then
Yeah.
well, that's why it's not a good ordinance.
So some of the things we were warned about, Lander just. They went through readings on changes, went through got into the third readings, first 2 readings went, third reading, they killed it. For some workforce housing. But it's, you know, and I don't know where it was at, whether that was a good deal, maybe it was a good deal, I don't live in Lander. But we wanna be mindful of not being
Over regulatory.
over regulatory on some of this, so.
On anything shouldn't be over
Yeah.
regulatory.
So we should be,
Well,
but we do need some rules.
Yeah.
We need some rules, you know, we gotta watch carefully about goats and down.
But just add-
I'm joking.
I think the good thing, the way we did it though, council did it, is that this council left it that in 5 years, a new council comes in and wants to change conditional things of that, they can be done without having to reinvent the whole wheel. They could add those things
Right.
as. And then you've also left things that are conditional that you're not saying can't be here, but the council wants
It's
to
not
have
a free
input
for all.
before it's just put in, just because it's not inherently. So I think in that regard, it's way better than what we currently have now. Or
Sure,
will be.
it's
when it's done.
a vast improvement, we're fixing things.
There's a lot of
Use some
holes in our
common sense in
current,
it, huh?
current ordinances that you guys were talking about, living in a camp trailer. Where you can stay up to 2 weeks with the blessing of the council. There's a hole in that one. That's how I got through 2022, 2023.
Cause you were building. You were.
I was in a motor coach.
Yes.
No regulation on motor coach.
Right.
It tells you what you can and cannot skirt a camp trailer with and how you can and can't and the regulations. It defines a motor coach and it don't regulate it. It was a motor coach.
But I do think the zoning is gonna have a lasting impact on the future of everything that's built in this town for decades to go.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Tammy,
I got questions about, remember the Wind River magazine that we all agreed on and left the money with them on our part?
did we give them money?
We never gave them money,
Yeah, I didn't think.
but
we
when
did.
all that transpired, we didn't request the money back that was held aside for that. We allowed them to keep it for that purpose. So we didn't have them pay us that money directly that they were holding for that. We allowed the chamber.
So
to
the
keep it.
chamber has the money.
Correct.
We did not pay the outfit out of Thermopolis. That was,
And then we were gonna pay for an ad that we were
Right,
going to
yeah.
pay for separately in
Yeah.
that same magazine, but they had the portion of the money to pay for the magazine as well from the chamber side that, when the TAD money came to the town instead of the chamber, the council did not have them remit
Bring
that
that
back
money.
to the town to pay so that they could have it for that process or project.
Is that still an ongoing project or?
no, it's dead. They didn't get enough, they did not get enough advertisers to make it go of it, so they didn't do it. Was what I was told. And the young lady that was doing it no longer works for the chamber in Thermopolis.
That was, to clarify, that was no fault on the chamber here. It was.
No.
Yeah,
There in
Right, right.
Thermopolis, yes,
Right.
yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I didn't think we gave them any money. I forgot it was TAD money and we didn't get over. Yeah,
we just didn't bring it back.
okay. We just knew it. We didn't write a check.
Correct.
The town didn't write. That's what I was aware of. Would like to have anything, Bob?
Yeah, we're doing some landscape out here in front. Have we discussed where you're gonna put the flagpole?
We were thinking right in the middle of that second portion over there was the last one. The other option would be in the middle of the one. As you come up, the main, I don't know. The one on the
Lot,
east side, the lot on the east side in the middle, or the one on the west side, but I believe they were discussing potentially putting the one on the west side over there. Where the trees are gonna be and give a little bit more of an aesthetic look.
I just didn't know if we ever discussed that.
Is
in
there-
council?
No, this has been internally discussed,
Okay.
you know, potentially, but we haven't,
That's all I have.
no directives unless you have. You didn't draw the map when you drew everything else. So.
I left it off. Forgot about it. Oh, there's gonna run trucks at fast lane at night again.
Okay. I hadn't got any complaints, but we'll make sure everybody knows to make sure that they're checking after 10 o'clock and they're shut down. With winter being here, it's probably prudent to.
Yeah.
Well, we really haven't had winter yet, but now that it's starting to get kind of cold, it's probably prudent to start.
It hasn't hit single digits yet.
Chief, would you like to talk about the ambulance update?
So we finally had the EMS director. I've ran into him at the conference for YDOT. He
Yeah.
happened to be there. And I kind of pulled him aside and poked him a little bit and said, when you gonna ever come up to Shoshoni and bless our ambulance so we can get moving? And he said, I will be there tomorrow, the next day. So he did show up. He went to our ambulance, got all the information off it, the mileage, the placard numbers, everything else like that. And we will be, I anticipate we will be operational according to the state by the end of the month or the first week or so of January. There will be a transition period after that where we have to attend some training for reporting, because when we do any kind of transport, we have to report to the state, and we have to go through a little bit of a training class on how to their reporting system, so we can teach everybody else. So tentatively, I anticipate that we will be operational to respond at the end, by the end of January. And that will of course be not 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. Initially, it will be a probably 4 days a week as we get staffed up with getting EMTs. I've had a couple more people come talk to me today about it, so we have a lot of interest. Also, while discussing with him, he did bring up options for certifying basic EMTs in a hybrid program that the state has that involves a lot of at-home learning. So you're not having to go to classrooms, you're able to do it at your own pace, at your own time, at home, and then you have your clinicals and stuff that you have to do after that. And we do have assistance that has been granted to it or offered to us from Park County, as well as Thermopolis, to do the clinical stuff to assist us in getting the EMTs their final sign off so they can be certified. So, and that also is grant funded, so that will reduce the cost of getting that. So we'll know more information. He's going to give me the information on that. So the plan is that initially we'll have 2 EMTs that will be able to staff it. That's why it's going to be limited coverage, but it still will be operational. And it'll be initially at least an asset that we have at our disposal. Obviously, our intention is not to take over ambulance service for the county, but it's to provide transport for our citizens that need to go to the ambulance or need to go to the hospital and not waiting 45 minutes in agony and pain and or whatever's going on with them for an ambulance to show up. We can already have them treated, stabilized, and transport to the hospital before the ambulance would even currently get here. That's the idea of this. And then as we staff up, obviously when like today, for example, they had one ambulance in the whole Riverton area, and they had a major wreck. So they had no ambulances available. So if you had needed an ambulance, you didn't have one. That's where we're trying to fill the gap, be a force multiplier, and be able to give assistance, not just to Shoshoni, but when we can assist the county.
Did you ask them about the CMTs that we got going through the school right now?
EMTs or CNAs?
We got CNAs right now.
Right. Phase 2 that I did discuss, break that up with Scott, is in Laramie County, they have a program where they teach EMS in high school. And that once we get operational, my intention is in the next year, once we're fully going, is to work with the school district and bring, in addition to CNA, because they have a CNA to EMT program in Laramie County, modeled with the state, and bring that to Fremont County or our school here, and hopefully be able to offer that in school as well, so they can become EMTs, whether they work for us or not, just be offered that service. I think that'd be a really cool thing to offer in high school.
You have to be 18.
Correct. That's why it's well, not for CNA,
Okay.
but they can get certified, but they wouldn't be able to work until they're 18. But they can go through the process to get certified their junior year, and then their senior year, they would be able, they'd be basic EMT. So they do their CNA and then they would do their EMT. And then they would have both right before they graduate. I don't have all the details on it, but there's assistance as a big push, a priority of the director of EMS to start doing this type of stuff in the schools. They have one program in Laramie County, and I hope to be the second here in Shoshone the next year. That's the hope and what I want to push forward to. Not so much to give us more EMTs, but I just think it'd be a really beneficial thing for life skills for any kid to go through that program in high school. As they go on to whatever they do in life, having that basic knowledge and skill set would be a big thing. And if they work for us, great. If they stay here, even better.
Got a question for you. Say I slipped and broke my leg, just something simple, whatever. And so the ambulance comes, gets me all loaded up and everything. And whatever facility, we gotta be locked into one facility.
So we're not tied to having to go to Riverton. We can go to the Thermopolis.
Yeah.
There's a different deal with the county, obviously, and things of that nature. We're more an at-large and what makes the most sense for the patient and the services they need, where they're gonna go. And their doctors and their in Thermopolis. It doesn't change it's not like law enforcement where you're in a jurisdictional boundary of just. We can go to Thermopolis.
Just recently, in the last few weeks, had a friend who father had a heart issue. And he wanted to go, he lives rural Fremont County. He wanted to go to Lander, not Riverton, for personal reasons. And the ambulance crew told him they could not take him to Lander. And so they did help my friend load his father in his car. My friend took his father to Lander Hospital in his car.
Well, and Riverton transports everybody to Lander.
Well,
Riverton
and
Hospital.
the surgical center is in Lander, so if you need surgery, you're going to Lander, generally speaking. So they're gonna do a transport there anyway. So it'd be dependent on the situation, the person, location, proximity of things like that. Obviously, if we're helping the county outside of Shoshone and we were responding, we're 3 minutes from the Riverton Hospital.
Right.
We're not gonna drive 45 minutes to Thermopolis because that's where we're gonna get you to a hospital to get treated
Sure.
and cared for. But here in Shoshone, yes,
And
so we would work with Hot Springs and that's where we'd go. Unless they,
right,
There's the road.
hopefully that answered your question.
it was, and if we get some local drivers, that'd be a good thing, no way to get around that. Cause the ambulance went a long way around to get to his house, about an extra 10 minutes, and he told them that. He said when they left, they went the long way around too. He's wondering if they were getting paid by the mile. Because when they left, they went the long way around instead of taking the shortcut. So,
But I know it's been a long process, a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be, but we're at the finish line, so.
yeah,
it's
real good, great work on that. Chief.
Finally got there.
Yeah. Great work, something we need here, real good. Economic development update, just a little bit, the Curry Rail car system, I've been talking with IT Inc. That is moving along and they may be open for business this summer. When we talked to them in August, they said could be 12 to 18 months. But things are moving along well enough, it could be open this summer. I don't think everything's signed, but it's everything is going on really good. They're gonna be having to do some upgrades on the facility here, and they're gonna do that, and it looks like that's moving well. I did spend 2 weekends ago talking with Wyoming Mushrooms, CFO group out of California, had discussions with them. They want to send a team, and I've been in contact with the business council. Trying to set up a meeting where we'll get everybody scheduled, and they're gonna send a team from California. I don't know who all's gonna be on the team on the teleconference I was talking to, or was Zoom. The Resty, remember him? He was their attorney. He was their first leader here when they came and got things going and then left. But he was the only one. The other two I did not know. But they're gonna put a team. And the Wyoming Business Council wants to look at how to help them, how to maybe diversify what they're doing. You know, one of the things, I know they talked about it, like the mushrooms, if they get snowed, they can't go light, you know, mushrooms shelf life isn't long. And if they get road closed, they can't deliver them in a timely manner. They just gotta throw them away. So mushroom jerky was one of the things that we're looking at. And I actually ate some, it's pretty good. Tastes like jerky. I mean, you put enough spices on about anything, it's gonna taste like what the spices are. And I guess, you know, I like elk or deer or antelope or moose, I don't care. I like beef too, you know, whatever, rabbit, it's all good. But it's fairly popular, that sort of stuff in California. The vegetarians where they can get the taste and don't have to eat the meat.
Also, do a lot of dehydration with mushrooms,
Yeah,
making this cheese and powder
yeah.
for your nutrient drinks. That'd be another source of to use them.
Because mushrooms have a lot of nutrients.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were even looking at building materials. Just anything, so they don't throw it away if they can get some money back, so so that's interesting. Hopefully in the next few weeks or after the first year, their team will get to come out here and maybe we can see if there's something that won't work for them if they can do the user, you know, facility. We got signage where we did get sent some signage that we're looking at probably on the east side and the south side. You know, Shoshoni Town Hall with our new emblem on it. I didn't make pictures of that, did I? Let me sure I got it.
The emblem
Huh?
of the emblem.
No other signage like and then we got a spot out here where they used to have the old school had men's sign. We can cover that up. Let me show you a couple things. This is just a rendering, not exactly, but something.
Oh, is that the rendering?
Yeah,
The tunnel?
yeah. I'll get it. That's there two, one's one side, one's the other. That's
Oh, they were
that's
different.
yeah, they're different pictures.
I'm sorry, I
That's the
should have
south.
handed you that. I apologize. I seen the logo and
Inside.
I don't know any of those people in the picture.
Yeah, they just,
It's all of us in disguise.
but something like that. The Wyoming Business Council, I sat in with a meeting with them and at CWC. funding is gonna be a lot harder to get. They got $78 million. And there's some real big projects starting that's gonna eat almost all of that. But they're gonna be creating a lot of jobs, so they're really gonna be putting that money, it's like the money we got for our sewer line. That business ready grant stuff, that funding would be really hard for a project. They had a project that applied for Guernsey, got turned down. They said, maybe last year they might have got funded. They got turned down. It just, I didn't think it near a good project as we had, but anyway, but it may have gotten funded. And it wasn't a bad project. It was to enlarge their senior center. And they had quite a bit of the funding, a lot more, had about 50% of the cash already to do it. So they were well funded already. They really just wanting some help. But it got turned down because of the amount of cash. Typically that last year, that probably got funded. So they just sort of gave us a warning that, that's those type of grants are gonna be much harder to get. So that was.
And I'd like to put out there to Bob Zint that I've enjoyed being on the city council with him, and we're sure gonna miss you.
Yes. Yeah, I was saving that for last. But you've been on council over 7 years, correct, Paul?
Yeah, I was appointed back, yeah, so 7 years.
Yeah. I forget which month, was it October, November? It's a little over 7 years. Isn't it?
You don't remember the month?
But it was right in there. 2017. Seen a lot go across. Through the council.
I feel like you put a lot of work into this. And I appreciate the fact that we didn't always agree, but we always got along.
Well, I'll miss the hard questions and the corrections when I make mistakes and pointing them out.
I didn't learn by now.
You can show up for any meeting. Keep him on his toes.
No, appreciate your dedication to the town for 7 years. It's hard to get people to volunteer to do this. So. Not many, it's not many people. We don't have 20 people running for each office. But, appreciate your 7 years.
Well, let's go home.
I
Make
just
a
like
motion.
to, I gotta know, and I wanna, thank the Nordians for the wonderful gift they gave the office, Swiss Collie fudge,
Swiss Colony.
assortment.
Well, I didn't get any. I was
Huh?
not notified.
Oh,
didn't get
I
email,
hate it.
fax, a phone call.
I hate it.
I didn't know about it either. I think Kim got it all.
I want to make sure I could get all the
I'm glad you.
really
acknowledged that,
nice
but it's all wrong.
pedophores out of there.
So, in any event, that I believe Bob motioned that we close this council.
I'll second.
Been seconded by Councilwoman Hartke. Any further discussion? Anybody in the office want to talk? I mean, outside there? No, there's no other comments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye, so same, pass all in the affirmative.
801.
8:01.
1 minute out.
Yeah, I